Okay, so we've got a bronze main tank here, playing Reinhardt.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Rein Ball,
Defend
Seal
objective
Mercy,
A.
so you... yes, that's fine. You blocked the dynamite there, that's okay. You probably could have walked forward a little bit there while doing that, but, kind of just shield it off to the left, hit around bus or something like that, but it's fine. Um, so you're running... I just want to talk about your team comp briefly here. You're running Reinhardt and Ball. It's a bit of an odd tank composition because Ball wants to get in, dive, get out. Um, can, however, use that to your advantage, so long as you coordinate. As soon as Ball dives in, that's when you want to engage in your brawl. You and Reaper can be in there, and Lucio should be with you as well. Then you got Pharmacy doing pharmacy things. Keep in mind, though, when you are playing Lucio Mercy as Reinhardt, it's going to be difficult for you because you do not have a lot of healing. Right, Mercy is likely going to be focused mostly on pocketing the Pharah, which, given that the other support is Lucio, she shouldn't be doing. But even if Mercy was pocketing you, there's just not a whole lot of healing going to be coming your way. And so with that, you have to start thinking about how to play a little bit more conservatively, play with your Reaper, play with your Lucio. The three of you guys together can kind of brawl a little bit. And again, you kind of want to coordinate your brawls with the Hammond dive, and of course, Pharmacy spamming down damage can help. But yeah, you have low healing, so you do have to play a little more conservatively. You also don't have a Zarya, so you don't have that bubble to play super aggressively. Okay, so... oh, I did not mean to do... so... just... sorry. Okay, so you got Reaper going in. It looks like Mercy's with you temporarily, although she's flying back to the Pharah. It looks like... Lucio... your Ball is over here, which is fine. He's doing ball things, that's okay. Where's your Lucio at? Lucio? Hello? There he is. Where are you going, Lucio? Oh, I bet you he's gonna go left around coast and not... so yeah, your Reaper's here... oh, please tell me Reaper's not running away from this. So your Lucio is going around to do Reddit Lucio things, which is not good. He should be playing with you. You've got Pharmacy spamming down damage, or they will be as soon as they get around corners. It's fine. But basically, it's you and Reaper against the world. And you're blocking dynamite again, which is fine. But what I would be doing here is just back up around the corner a little bit. So as Reinhardt, your biggest resource is your shield. Because it only has 1600 health, it goes down pretty quickly. So you want to try and make the best use of it as often as you can. And by that I mean when you have your shield up, when you are blocking something, you have to be protecting yourself, you have to be protecting your team, right? It has to be vital. Here you've got all kinds of cover to hide behind. So what you can do is you can back up, shield up and escape the range of that dynamite, and you won't be hard shielding McCree and Mercy. Like, they're all shooting into your shield, and you've got your shield up blocking the damage, which is burning down your shield, and it does not need to be, right? You could just, all right, dynamite's coming in, back up, shield the dynamite damage, and let your shield recharge a little bit, and then you can go back forward and walk in when your shield has full health. Yeah, 1490, it's going down pretty quickly. Yeah, see, and your shield's down at half health now, and you kind of stood there for a second, not shielding anything. Yeah, that's good, right? So you walked in and you started swinging. That's good. Please don't back out. And you're backing out. So with Reinhardt, you have to be aggressive. Granted, that's a tough situation because you have no healing. Lucio is down here with Ball, which Ball can take care of himself. Your Lucio should not be with Ball most of the time. Your Lucio should be with you. But, imagine if Lucio was with you. All of a sudden, you guys speed in and you just start swinging on those three squishies between you, Reaper, and Lucio. one, two, or all three of them are going to die, and there's not a thing that they can do to help it. But you're low on health, and so what I would be doing here is I would be pushing up with your Reaper, all right, just trying to play aggressive. You can hard shield, and if you get out here, get line of sight for your Mercy, right, and your Mercy can fly up and heal. But you're retreating back, which I can kind of understand. Um, but your team is fighting on point. Your team is engaged in the fight. So you, as Reinhardt, your team is there and engaged. You need to be there and engaged with your team. Um, there's the idea that, to escape low ranks, bronze, silver, gold, the biggest thing you have to focus on is not dying, which is true, right? You generally want to play a little safer, a little more conservatively, so you don't die as often. But when you are playing main tank, you cannot be afraid of dying, right? Dying is more or less part of being a main tank. If you, like, staying alive is absolutely important, but right here, your team is engaged in the fight, right? Your Fair is down already. Ball and Lucio are on point. Your Mercy is in the middle of nowhere, and your Reaper is trying to do some ranged poke. So your Reaper's trying to get in close. Your Reaper's trying to do Reaper things, but he needs your help to do it. So you, as a tank, you should be walking up with your Reaper right here, shielding Sigma's damage. You can spam I need healing, and hopefully your Mercy can fly up to you and start healing you. But you walk forward here with Reaper, and then you and Reaper can take on this Sigma and this Mercy. Yeah, and you have to contribute to the team fight, is what I am trying to say. So right now, even if you die, right, so long as you and your team are in the team fight. Go for flank Rein, that's fine. Fire strike. I'm not sure why you're backing out here. Again, that's the same kind of thing. True, you are alone there, but your entire team is in the fight. Your entire team except you. So... So, I just want to talk about that last little bit there. You just spent 30 seconds, like you started up here, you got low on health, retreated, you got the health pack, you walked all the way around coast, you launched off one fire strike, and then you walked all the way back around doing this big old loop. So you spent 30 seconds doing nothing. This entire team fight, you haven't done anything as Reinhardt. You haven't made space for your team, you haven't shielded or protected anyone from your team. You haven't been doing damage to anybody. Like, you've just been walking around trying to do poke damage as Reinhardt. So this this opening so far, you've got to make the decision as Reinhardt. As Reinhardt, you are the playmaker for your team. You are the quarterback for your team. So you have to make a decision and stick with it, right? And so when your entire team is engaged in the team fight, you, as Reinhardt, you need to be there. You need to be there for your team. You need to be a threat to the enemy team. You need to be making space for your DPS. You need to be controlling the flow of the fight. And basically, most of the time what that means is you need to be right up in someone's face, swinging your hammer, or shielding some poke DPS or something. Stay on point. It's okay. I know you're low health thing. You're doing the right thing here. You're backing up. You're playing safe. Waiting until you get healing. So, I'm going to say your team kind of won that one for you, because you spent 30 seconds doing absolutely nothing. Then you got on point, you swung a couple times, landed one fire strike. The one thing you did do, though, is that you distracted them. You made space because they turned to focus at you instead of looking at your DPS or your Lucio. So that was good. That's kind of what Reinhardt does. Is Reinhardt, you want to control the attention of the enemy team. You want to make them focus on you rather than focusing on your squishies. So that part was okay. Um, yeah. So here also one thing is Reinhardt. Reinhardt should almost never, ever, ever, ever be on the cart. Almost like there's some situations where yes, it's fine, but you shouldn't have to be. Now again, that kind of idea in gold and below is blasphemy. But basically the correct play here would be to push up as Reinhardt, right? And three, okay. Anyway, push up as Reinhardt, right? You want to take this space. You want to command this space, right? So think about it this way. If you guys are all sitting on a cart and payload's moving, sure, you know what? It moves a little bit faster, right? If up to 3 people, it'll move a little bit faster. And I think the difference between having 1, 2, or 3 people on there is maybe 20 to 25%, depending on the map. So that means if you have 3 people on cart, it'll move at most 20 to 25% faster than if you had one person on cart, which is not that significant. It's not that fast, right? So if all you guys are sitting on cart, all of a sudden pushes here, then these guys, the enemy team, is going to be able to push up and they're going to take the fight right here. And so they're going to spend, an entire team fight fighting on cart, right? The cart's going to be contested and it's not going to move, right? And the team fight's going to last 20, 30, 40 seconds, even a minute if you guys keep on trickling in like that. That entire minute, this cart is not moving, right? So even if they lose the fight, that is a win for the defending team because they just spent a minute. They killed an entire minute off the clock by fighting on the cart, making sure it doesn't move. Whereas as Reinhardt, and maybe everybody except like one person, you leave one person on cart and the others move up and take the fight up here. Well, all of a sudden they have to fight you here instead of on cart. And so the cart's still going to be moving that entire minute the team fight is happening, right? And you take all that space, you command all that space, the cart still moves, you still win the fight, you keep on pushing, right? Here it's not a big a deal, but when you guys win this team fight, you should be pushing up to like this corner. Anyway, we'll see what you do. Point is, as Reinhardt, don't be on cart.
Payload is in my charge. Let us move it.
So that's not very good shield management there. I don't know if you're planning it that way, but you almost got the boop charge, right? You aim a little bit more to the left and charge like this way, and you're gonna boop the bob off the edge of the map here. That was a good try though. You're shielding the bob here. Up until that point though, you were kind of wasting your shield a little bit. Sure, you guys were pushing cart, but you were kind of just standing here hard shielding all this damage, not really doing all that much when you could just as easily have been hiding behind the corner and doing the exact same thing while recharging your shield. So because Reinhardt's shields, like after all these shield nerfs recently, you have to be very smart as to how you manage Reinhardt's shield. And you now have Shatter. Let's see how you use it. Could have shielded that. It's a good job chasing down the kill there on the Sigma.
My ultimate is ready.
Team should be pushing up. That same reason. Push up. That's good, that's good. So, like, when you're, the cart has to get to this point here. Right? So, as this cart moves around, as Reinhardt, you and the rest of your team, leaving one person on cart, should push, like, all the way up to here, almost, That way you can start the team fight here. Of course, you want to retreat. You don't want to be fighting this close to their spawn. But, you can start the team fight here and just slowly retreat and hold this corner. That way they can't touch payload. Right? And you can push payload all the way to the end. So now there, it was
has
actually
reached
okay for
the
you to be on cart.
checkpoint.
So when you're this close there, having 3 people on cart just to get at that extra little bit, that's okay. One thing I noticed here, your fire strikes, got to work on the aim a little bit. That's just practice, so that will come with playtime. Again, fire strike is a projectile, so you kind of have to predict where they're going to be. Don't shoot to where they're at, but read their animation, look at where they're moving, and shoot your fire strike where it's going to be. Um, Another thing with fire strike is it has a pretty big hitbox, and it goes through shields, and it will keep on going until it hits a wall. So you can actually hit multiple people with it, and as Reinhardt, it is the main way you build charge. Because for every person you hit with your fire strike, you gain 7% alt charge. So, if you manage to get 2, 3, 4 people, you can build, a significant amount of your alt charge. So you of course, it's on a 6-second cooldown, so it's pretty quick. So you should be using it pretty much on cooldown. But definitely try aiming for either big groups of people, or if you see a low health target, use it to finish them off. You also, I don't know if you know this, but Reinhardt has a fire strike animation cancel, or rather a melee animation cancel. Basically, you swing your hammer, and as soon as you hear the thunk of it hitting somebody, or um, see the hit markers on your screen, you immediately hit your fire strike animation or your fire strike button, and it will cancel out the rest of the animation of your swing and immediately go into fire strike. Um, and that's useful just for trying to get off a little bit more burst damage. It can help secure kills, especially in the Rein matchup. Here, so right now you should be pushing up. You on cart is doing absolutely nothing. Team's fighting and you're not there helping. Fire strike on Lucio. So this fight's lost now, you're down 2. Just back up. You're also not shield hopping. So yeah, you're not shield hopping. It's one of the ways that you can help move faster as Reinhardt. Basically, you move, jump, and while you're in the air, you shield. So when you're moving with Reinhardt, you move slower with your shield out. But if you jump and move at the same time, your momentum carries forward. And so while you're in the air, you're moving forward at the same speed you would be as if you were walking. Right? So that way you can basically, using shield hop, you can shield the same speed you would be if you were walking. It's kind of tough to explain how it works, but there are some video guides on YouTube as to how to do that. It's not very hard. Basically, walk, jump, and while you're in the air, shield. As soon as you land, you drop your shield, walk a step forward, jump, shield, keep pushing forward. Backward, depending on which way. Good shatter. In higher ranks, they're gonna recognize that you're coming into shatter. That was very obvious. I mean, good shatter. That was good combo all around. You came in, you shattered, ball got a big slam off. Pharah ulted into it. That was a good combo. One thing with Ryan's shatter is that generally speaking, there is a little combo that you want to do when he shatters. So basically, you shatter, crouch, fire strike, then you walk forward and you swing a couple times, and then as the enemy team is standing up, that's when you charge. So the reason being, if you think about it this way, fire strike has a normal arc that goes downwards, right? Something like that. But when you crouch and fire strike, instead of going down like this, it kind of goes almost parallel to the ground, kind of like this. So the idea being is when you have multiple enemies on the ground, you can crouch and fire strike and hit multiple targets at once, right? So it just does more damage. And then you walk forward and you look around and you start swinging at everything. And then as they start standing up, that's when you charge. Shift and you charge them over here. And by the time you pin them, Shatter will have completely finished and you will start building ult charge again. And so that pin will count as damage towards your next ult. And so it'll be a good chunk of Shatter built very quickly. But of course, you couldn't really do that because Ball slammed down and knocked everybody out of the way, but that's fine. Again, you should not be on cart here. Push up closer to their spawn. Force them to take the fight, like right at the bottom of the stairs there.
Don't worry, my friend.
It's a nice flick. You recognize the McCree's behind you, you flicked around to shield the Deadeye, that was good. The unfortunate thing is that you got shot in the back by the rest of the team. So it's a good ult by the McCree. I don't know if it was planned, but you know, he waited till the rest of the team engaged. It's just a good play on that part.
Where does it hurt?
Junkrat primed and ready.
Push with your team, right? You can see your soldier Mercy going up top. Push with them.
Everyone heal up.
Actually, the rest of your team's coming with you here. That's okay. You let soldier, like soldier's being pocketed by the Mercy, he should be able to handle himself. I guess he should wait to engage until you do. That way they're kind of distracted by you and not paying attention up top. Wasting shield here, you're not blocking anything.
Moving to base. Join me.
So when you're not under threat like that, you were just hard shielding nothing. There was a little bit of damage incoming, but I mean it's you and Roadhog, right? You are two tanks that are quite hard to kill. So you guys are in no danger of dying anytime soon, and you just hard shielded nothing and didn't allow your shield to recharge. So you definitely could have dropped your shield there, took in a little bit of damage, and then put your shield back up later as it recharges a little bit. Good old Lucio. Fire strike, nice. Almost. Okay, so good round. Biggest things I noticed, your shield management is not great. You spend a lot of time hard shielding nothing. So you need to think about when you're shielding, why am I shielding, right? Your shield needs to have a purpose for it, right? Am I protecting my team? Am I pushing forward? Am I taking space? What am I doing with my shield, right? If there's just a little bit of damage incoming and they're just focused at you, if there's no squishies behind you, you don't need your shield. Going up against a Roadhog like that, I guess it's okay to have it, because it's a little tougher in lower ranks to predict his hook and block the animation, but basically, whenever you shield, there has to be a purpose to it. There has to be a reason for it. Positionally, not great either. You started pushing up top, which is good. You always want to take the high ground here. Just like right now, you should be starting on the high ground here. But you kind of gave up that high ground for no apparent reason, or you didn't even try to contest it with your Reaper. And then you spent 30 seconds walking around not engaging with your team. So as Reinhardt, always engage with your team.
3, 2,
Team should not be in a team fight without you. So starting here, this is a good spot to start. Always start on this high ground on a new bounty. Always, always, always. Depending on team composition, it might be acceptable to start over here if you're running like an Orisa bunker style, but generally speaking, this is the place you want to start. Doomfist is back here, that's fine, I'm okay with this, because Doomfist can get in, kill a squishy, and get out. Your Lucio should not be back here. Your Lucio's been trying to do this Reddit Lucio thing all game, and it just hasn't really been working. Or at least not that I've seen anyway. Soldier's in a good spot. Aside from your Lucio, this is a good starting position.
attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Switching to combat area activated.
Okay, so there Genji dove in, dove out like Genji does, and you heard him. You can hear the deflect, right? It's a very, very loud and very obvious sound cue. When he does that, just don't bother fire striking, because you know Genji's in front of you, right? You saw him dive in, you saw him dash back, and then you heard deflect. If you had waited an extra second and fire striked after he deflected, you would have hit their entire team. You would have hit Reinhardt, Lucio, Genji, Roadhog, McCree, probably even their Mercy. You would have hit all 6 of them, right? That would have been 50%, 56% ult charge. You would be halfway to your ult, right? Just wait that extra little second. Don't ever shoot or fire strike into a deflecting Genji. Actually, as another thing too, deflect also blocks melee attacks. So as Reinhardt, if Genji is deflecting, you can't even hit him with your hammer. It sucks. But okay, so in the Rein v Rein matchup, it's this big mental game, right? And when you are playing Rein against Rein, you have basically 2 main jobs. One is to block the enemy Rein's shatter, and 2 is to dodge the enemy Rein's fire strikes. So, I mean, there's a lot more than that, but those are kind of the 2 you need to focus on. And blocking his shatter is just a big mental game. That gold players, platinum players, that's when they start to do that, and a lot of them struggle with it. You don't start to see those mind games until probably high plat, low diamond. But anyway. So here, what I would be doing is I'd be playing around this corner, right? So that way when you see him fire strike, you can just dip back here and dodge his fire strike. That way he doesn't get any of the ult charge, right? And then you can peek back around, fire strike here. He has nowhere to go, right? He cannot dodge the fire strike. And so basically him and his team right now, they are just a fire strike feed ult for you. You can build your ult in 2 fire strikes here, basically. And then you dropped off high ground for no real reason. Sure, you, Ball, Mercy, you should all be hiding up or back up here, right? You've got Doomfist and Lucio in their backline. Again, their Lucio should be with you and not with your Doomfist. But basically, you should still be contesting this high ground. Don't give them this high ground for free, right? Make them work. You can still hold this corner. You can swing, you can shoot, you can fire strike. Mercy can heal you. Ball can actually swing in and do a slam. Like he can swing in and slam. You can CC them. You can control them. Soldiers pumping damage into them. You're not in danger here. Stay on this high ground. Fight on this high ground for as long as you can. Make them work to claim this high ground. Because right now you dropped off and you just gave them the most valuable piece of space on point A for free. Like you just gave it to them. For no real reason. I mean, sure, you were low on health, but you can just duck around a corner, keep your shield up, and Mercy can heal you. Again, Lucio should be with you as well, but that's not the shield. Gonna strike fire strike. Your heart shielding nothing again. Walk in and swing. Walk in and swing. So, right here, you're spending all this time jumping around cart. Just walk in and start swinging on something, right? Start building your ult. Like, they've got Rein, Roadhog, Lucio here. You can just start swinging and hit 2 or 3 people at a time per swing and build your ult really, really quickly. Walk in, swing. Provide value to your team. Like I was talking to, contributing to the team fight for your team. One of those huge things is that Rein does 75 damage per swing, and his swing hits every single target in his radius. So right here, if you start swinging, you can hit Mercy, Genji, and Lucio. So you're 1, 2, 3 swings, and you kill all 3 of these things. I mean, they all have escapes to get away from you, but that's the idea, is you do insane amount of damage to a lot of people, right? And you got Soldier up here just pumping damage down. You got Ball and Mercy over here harassing them. Like, you've got all kinds of damage coming in from all kinds of directions. Help your team. Go in, start swinging, be a threat, be a presence to the enemy team, control their attention, make them focus on you, make them have to turn and deal with you so that your Soldier, your Ball, I mean your Doomfist if he was still alive, so that they have room to work, right? So that they can put in damage without being turned to look at, I guess. No way Mercy gets this res off.
This is not
I want to watch that again. I want to watch that again. Okay, so you're swinging. Then you shield, just push W and swing.
Powering shields.
Nice fire strike killing with 3.
Attention.
So here, I wouldn't have chased this Genji. Genji is very hard for you to kill by yourself because he has escapes, right? So he used his deflect, which means you can damage him, but he still has dash, right, so far as you know. So he could just dash here and go for the health pack, and you'd never catch him, right? And all the while, your team's out here fighting the rest of them. Let Genji do that, right? Let him be over there. Turn around, start dealing with the Reinhardt. Start dealing with the rest of their team. Right, because now their Reinhardt sees you in there by yourself with no support. He's like, oh yeah, that's a free, easy kill. Whereas if you had been out here, you could have had Mercy heal you. Lucio could have healed you. This is gold. So Mercy flies right into the face of the Reinhardt. The Reinhardt gets stuck on this enemy Mercy. Like they kind of fight over door space here. And this Reinhardt's like, oh, let me let you in. Doesn't even turn to look at her. Oh man. Like I don't know what this Rein was doing. Wow. Wow, that is... Your Mercy should have died there. Like, that should not have happened. I mean, glad it did, but oh man. That is a thing of beauty. Yeah. So you're low health there, trying to stop point, that's fine. Rule of thumb with Reinhardt, that yellow part on your health bar is armor. Armor reduces incoming damage, right? It's actually a fairly significant reduction. So as long as you have armor, don't even bother having your shield up, just swing at something, right? When that armor leaves... Lucky pin. So you could have done the swing fire strike combo and killed Hawk there a little quicker. But that was good.
Awesome.
I haven't seen you YOLO charge yet, which is good. It's okay to charge out a spawn like that when you're trying to get somewhere faster. Another little thing about charge is when you are charging, if you hold space, at the end of your charge animation, you will do this little jump, and it'll push you forward just a little bit farther. So when you're charging in a spawn like that, trying to get somewhere faster, hold space. Okay, so that entire time... Sorry, just to finish, if you hold space when you're charging, you'll jump at the end and go a little bit farther. It'll help you get places a little faster. But that entire fight, you should be up here with your team. You know, Winston and Mercy were up here being annoying. You could have been up here, and again, look at them. There's, what, 3 people up here? You could have just... Or they had their Rein up here too, so there was 4 people up here. You fire strike into that, and you suddenly have your ult. Right, so you can be up here just swinging like a madman into all 4 of these people doing huge amounts of cleave damage. And then you toss in a fire strike or 2, you build your ult, you shatter them, you kill them, it's great. Right, so you should be up here fighting with your team. Remember when I said this is the most important piece of high ground on point A? It still is. Do not give them this for free. When you win the team fight and there's a bit of a lull, just move back up here. Hold this high ground. Right? Do not give them this for free.
Very
Right? And you could have saved your monkey from whole hog if you had been up there. Protect your Mercy when she's rezzing. So, as a tank, when you see Mercy go for a res, or if your Mercy says to go for a res, just go stand next to her. And, like, there's no one around here to damage her, but definitely have your shield, like, at the ready, flicking around, or whatever, just to make sure that she doesn't get shot, because at higher ranks, even at silver, she's going to start to get punished for that. By the time you hit gold, definitely platinum, if anyone is anywhere near Mercy, like that Lucio could have just hauled ass out of the corner there and booped Mercy away from that res, right? And you could have been there to block the boop, right? And make sure that res got off. That's fine. Good kill on the Lucio.
Let's up the tempo.
Barrier activated.
Go back up to high ground.
another!
Greetings.
Hello!
60 seconds remaining.
Enemies detected.
So if you've been on high ground, you would have hit everybody in there with that fire strike.
Come out and face me!
And because they have only 3 now, that high ground is very
Heroes
powerful.
never die.
And you're
For
just giving it to
price.
them. Okay, so with Shatter, when they have a Genji, it is 100% okay to solo Shatter and ulting Genji, right? Especially if they have Nano Blade, because you can build Shatter faster than he builds Genji Blade, right? And Genji Blade can just destroy your entire team, especially if they nano it. And so a Nano Blade definitely worth it because you use one ult to counter 2 of theirs, right? And you can just kill Genji when he's shattered. So it's a little tough to hit him. You have to know where he is. You have to turn, look, and when he's close to the ground, you have to shatter. Because if he's up in the air, if he's on a wall, around a corner, something like that, he's going to be able to dodge shatter. But you definitely could have gotten their Genji there and prevented him from blading. However, when you do that, this Rein is probably going to shatter. You know, he outplayed you. He waited till you were looking away with your shield. Let's just go back and watch that a sec. Let's see what happens here. So, another thing with Rein's Shatter. One of the mind games you can play with Rein is trying to bait him into fire striking. So when Rein fire strikes, there is no way to cancel that animation. And Shatter's animation is faster than the fire strike animation. And what that means is if you have Shatter and you see the enemy Rein start to fire strike, immediately press Q. He might get the fire strike off, but there is no way that he is going to be able to block your Shatter. In that respect, when you know the enemy Rein has Shatter, don't fire strike. Because he will be looking for the same thing. He will be waiting for you to start your fire strike animation, and then when you start your fire strike animation, he's going to shatter you, and there is no way you can block it. Sorry about chat there, but what means to do? What did it? I don't know how that happened, but okay. Anyway. So yeah, that's just one of the fire strike animations.
Heroes never die. For a price.
So it looks like you're trying to bait him there, which is fine. Oh. So you just dropped your shield at the exact time. Yeah, that's unlucky. You just got a little bit outplayed there.
30 seconds remaining.
Oh, let's break it.
Oh, what a pin.
Tactical are activated.
Shatter something. Shatter that.
I'm on fire! Everyone heal up.
Victory.
Alright, so your team kind of rolled them this one, right? You pushed it all the way, they didn't even capture point A. Biggest things I noticed, second point there, you did not use Shatter once, and you definitely could have built like 3 Shatters there, right? Because they kept on pushing top and they were all grouped together. If you were holding top, you could have easily built 2 or 3 Shatters. So Rein builds Shatter very quickly. Don't be afraid to press Q. It's 100% perfectly acceptable to solo Shatter people. Don't let people tell you otherwise, especially if it's a Genji blade or something like that. it's definitely acceptable to use Shatter as a shutdown ult. You don't need to get those big Reddit plays like 3, 4 people in a Shatter or whatnot. So don't be afraid to press Q. Shield management could use some work, as I pointed out. Make sure you have a plan with your shield. Make sure that there is something that your shield is accomplishing. And positionally, you were playing far too passive, right? Don't be afraid don't be afraid to die as Reinhardt. You need to be in with your team. When your team is fighting, you need to be in the fight. To be swinging, you need to be protecting. You need to be providing value to your team. There's that whole concept of just push W and win. That is very true, right? Get your team to group up with you, push W, walk into the enemy team, swing, 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 fire strike, shield, win, easy. Yeah, but those are the main things. If you play a little more aggressively, right? Be sure to be in the team fight with your team. Be careful with your shield. Stop hard shielding nothing, and I think you could definitely climb.